co-director of Center for Legal Assistance and Settlement, which is called CLAS, based in Lahore, Pakistan. CLAS has provided free legal aid and shelter to support victims of religious persecution, which includes blasphemy laws, forced marriages, and forced conversions. CLAS has been instrumental in bringing the issue of forced conversions of religious minority girls to the attention of the international community and advocate for effective legislation to stop the forced conversion and misuse of blasphemy laws in Pakistan. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Nadine. Can you hear me? Okay. Discrimination on the basis of gender is a widespread human rights issue in Pakistan that is badly affecting a huge proportion of women in the country. Women make up nearly 48.8% of the total population, and this half indisputably encounters multidimensional problems and witnesses inequalities in the provision of basic human rights, such as access to health, education, which is far from equally provision. Boys' schools and colleges in the public sector outnumber those for girls. Equal economic opportunities, political inclusion, and decision-making participation are merely a daydream for many women in Pakistan. Gender relations in Pakistan rest on two basic perceptions: that women is subordinate to men and that a man's honor resides in the action of the women of his family. Culturally entrenched social roles that associate femininity solely with reproduction and subordination are found to undermine efforts towards equality, social harmony, and positive space. Space is allocated to and used differently by men and women. Most women spend the major part of their life physically within the wall boundaries of their home and go out only for serious and approved reasons. Gender inequality is taken to be a fact of life in Pakistan, and it is potentially hampering its socio-economic advancement and progress. So societies dominated by patriarchal hierarchy gives men disproportionate level of power, subjugate women, and shape conflict dynamics. Sadly, Pakistan ranks high on the list of countries that rampant discrimination against female and other sexual minorities, which includes gay, lesbian, and transgender. Being a girl in the patriarchal society is hardly less than a crime. Moreover, if you happen to belong to a Christian, Hindu, or Sikh family, your vulnerability of being born a female increases. In a country where religion plays an important role in shaping social gender norms and developing society's attitude towards its religious minorities, non-Muslim women live under constant threat of being sexually harassed at work and public places, abducted, sexually assaulted, forcefully converted to Islam, and forced into marriage with their abductor. Pakistan has signed and ratified the International Convention Covenant on Civil and Political Rights that states everyone shall have the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. That right shall include freedom to have or to adopt a religion or belief of his choice and freedom, either individually or in community with others and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in worship, observance, practice, and teaching. No one shall be subjected to coercion which would impair his or her freedom to have adopted a religion or belief of his or her choice. Pakistan also ratified the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, of which Article 16 confirms the right of every woman to enter into marriage only with their free and full consent. The human rights violation that minorities face under the pretense of forced conversion is a solid reality in Pakistan, and the fact that the majority of the victims of these forced conversions are minor girls speak volume of the vulnerability of the converts and the motivation of those behind these conversions. The increase in these cases is a testament to the fact that Pakistan has miserably failed to uphold any of its obligation under these conventions and international treaties to protect the rights of vulnerable minority women and girls. The legal system almost always fail to deliver justice in forced conversion cases because of the prevalent inefficiencies and the bias among law enforcement officials and court officials. The police, the judiciary, and media act biased in forced conversion to facilitate and enable the conversion of minority women to Islam. In the court proceedings that we have witnessed in cases involving allegations of forced conversions, it is observed that the honorable courts offer a mixed bag of verdicts that contradict one another. Once in a blue moon, the judge passes verdict based on the laws of the land, while on the other hand, they largely issue ruling influenced by their personal belief. For instance, the honorable court in many cases frequently pass the orders of giving the custody of minor girls to their perverted husbands on the pretext of child bride reaching the age of puberty, resulting to the Islamic interpretation regarding the onset of puberty as an acceptable age for marriage with underage girls. Yet the Child Marriage Restraint Act of Pakistan of 1929 makes it an offense to marry a girl below the age of 16 and a boy below the age of 18. In sin, it is 18 years for both sexes. But the most important question is, how does the Muslim rule of puberty as the age of marriage applies to non-Muslims? Through this denial of justice, the state fails to fulfill its duty of protecting the safety of all citizens in cases that constitute violation of children's rights and freedom of religion as entrenched in international conventions such as Article 18 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and Article 30 of the Convention on the Rights of Child, both of which Pakistan is a party. Further, once the women convert, there is no going back, as Islam is a religion that can only be entered and not exit. Apostasy would mean a death sentence. Due to this, many women remain in the clutches of powerful perpetrators. At 3 different times in 2016, 2019, and 2021, an attempt was made to outlaw forced conversion and marriages, including laying guidelines for the court process and placing an age limit of 18 years upon conversion and enabling better due process. But every time, the bill against forced conversion was strongly rejected following due process. The bill against forced conversion was dubbed as the bill against the public interest and the principles of Sharia, and the government termed it as an attempt to limit Muslims' right to religious freedom to convert non-Muslims to Islam. This imposition of the religious ideology of the majority community on religious minorities while introducing law and policy reform is highly discriminatory, and it amply demonstrates the state's favoritism towards one religious group rather than the state's impartiality towards all citizens, irrespective of their religious identities. It also reflects to what extent the marginalized groups have access to justice, which impedes the rule of law. A significant gap remains between ratification and implementation at the domestic level. However, Pakistan follows a dualistic system of international treaties, and therefore those that have been ratified still require incorporation into domestic law. Failure on the part of the government of Pakistan to comprehensively bring domestic legislation in line with international treaties had led to the frequent violation of the latter. It is a known fact that laws and regulations alone will not prevent violence against religious minorities, women in Pakistan, but that a much deeper and stronger move is needed to transform the whole mindset of the society, both towards the inadmissibility of violence against women and towards the respect of different creeds and beliefs. Nevertheless, there is a wide range of proactive measures that can and should be taken to encourage this transformation, such as programs promoting the education of religious minority girls, the restoration of health facilities in the religious minorities area, and the provision of microcredit loans to women entrepreneurs to encourage their empowerment. A strong and deep move towards the eradication of bonded labor, under which women are vulnerable to sexual exploitation from the landowner, is also indispensable. The government of Pakistan, whose response has been limited and mostly restrictive, should fully tackle this issue and show a strong commitment to the protection of women from religious minorities. The state should make sure that women vulnerable to abduction will not remain without protection, and police officers who refuse to file an FIR in case of rape and abduction involving religious minorities shall face sanctions. Women development schemes should separately consider minority women because their socioeconomic status often plays a critical role in discriminatory treatment. All the sustainable development program related plans must give special attention to religious minority and their women so that no one is left behind. At present, the Pakistani government needs to have an empathetic approach towards post-conversion issue rather than the defensive approach it has right now. I have brought with me a lot of the cases because I just want to tell you that these 5 of these cases, they are not fictional stories. These are real people. These are real girls who are still missing. 14-year-old Maria Shivaz, a victim of forced conversion. Kinza, 14-year-old Kinza, who still remain missing. Neha and Maria, 9-year-old Neha and 11-year-old Maria, who still remain missing. Sumbal, 14-year-old Noreen, and I come here today not as a participant, not as a guest, but as a mother. I have a 10-year-old back in Pakistan, and I can relate to these mothers who are suffering because their daughters are missing. And I can relate to them that one day my daughter would be taken away from me. And I take every opportunity that I'm given to knock at the doors and seek help, so it should be stopped. Thank you.